That day, I was unusually nervous, and I'd look at the sky and look at the conditions, and I'm thinking to myself, why am I being a chicken? You know, it looks great. I woke up early and I was going to take a customer out for a tandem flight, and we're going to do a payout wench where I'm attached to a trailer, and on the trailer is a spool of line, and we're just going down this closed off road, and I release from the trailer and the spool line feeds out, and when you get up about 3,000, 4,000 feet, you release and you fly around. First attempt, we're tooling down the highway doing 35 miles an hour, and I'm trying to release, and nothing. I'm still in the trailer, and I yelled out, "Abort, abort, abort." And he stopped, and he checked things out and said, "Oh, this is tangled." The second attempt where we were trying to tow launch, I released, and I just shot up like a rocket. But I released successfully and landed out in the sage, and I told my customer, "Not just yet, things aren't quite right," which was probably the smartest thing I've ever said in my life. And probably the dumbest thing I ever did was check it out again because things weren't quite right. The third and last time I launched, it was great. Now that I'm at 150 feet, I started locking out and was about to dive into the ground. And so I made the decision to release. And once I released, the glider got really still and quiet, and it went to a dive from 150 feet. I landed on my feet, and I just crunched in like a cheap lawn chair, and it was lights out. I had surgery on my knee where I broke the tibia plateau in 2 places and had plates put in, and I fractured my pelvis in 5 places. I broke my back in 3 places, and I broke my clavicle, scapula. I tore my liver, punctured and collapsed my lung, and I had an epidural hematoma, which means I had bleeding next to my spinal cord, and that's caused my paralysis. What's really funny is the paralysis is below my knees, and I got full use of my knees, so even though I'm more or less a paraplegic, I can kind of walk, and I make the most of it. The most difficult thing for me is, in my mind, I'm not disabled, and when I do things that I shouldn't be doing, I'm quickly reminded that I'm disabled. And the frustrating thing is as a father, we had just adopted CJ, who was 7 months old. I want to be there to help, but I couldn't, and it's very frustrating when, for example, when my wife would come into the nursing home and she's got sutures in her hand because the basement flooded out and the glass broke and cut her hand, and I'm laying on my bed helpless, and it'll bring a man to tears when you realize that your family needs you, but you can't do anything. We got through it. Soon enough, we had our next baby, Breck, that we adopted in 2009. I wanted to get back into hang gliding soon after my accident, but unfortunately it took a long time to heal. Basically, I think my wife says no more. She lovingly and politely told me she'd leave my bum if I do it again. After being away from hang gliding for over 8 years, I was watching the clouds pop up over the mountains. I said to her as we're driving down the road, "Today would be an awesome hang gliding day." It would have been, and I was just reminiscing. But soon after that, she says, "You know, I wouldn't mind if you went hang gliding again. Just don't do it all the time." I told my friend Berg out in Tooele that the wife gave me the green light. The horses have been let out of the barn. I can go hang gliding now. Trying to get the glider set up and getting ready to fly, just trying to hook into the glider, it's a struggle. I got winded and I had beads of sweat coming down my face. But then again, once I got up to launch, I could feel the glider starting to fly. It was no big deal. It was awesome to be up there again. I can honestly say when I'm at launch and it's feeling good, all the doubts and fears are gone. You can't be launching off a mountain with doubts and fears in you and think, what if, what if, what if, because you're in essence wishing your own demise. One thing I like about skydiving and hang gliding is once you go for it, you really go for it and throw caution off the side. When you launch from a place that's 1,000 feet off the ground and you rocket up to 10,000 feet, there's nothing like it. But what's really important is that no matter what you're doing, do what you love to do and have fun. Because if you're not going to have fun or get anything out of it, that risk reward, it's not there. There's too much risk involved. You'll often hear among the disabled athletes, you either get busy living or you get busy dying.